Part 59. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 581. Rumor has it that she always appears in the dark and has a magical power that can deceive people. Every time she appears, it will not be the same face. Hence the name. As the head of the intelligence department, the Dark Knight Maiko has no information that she cannot get hold of. At first, Feng Ziyi didn't quite believe that this could be done by human beings. Later, she kept hearing about the great achievements of the Witch of the Night at the branch, and she realized that she was really watching the sky, and her knowledge was too short. Liberty Island, a place where dragons and crouching tigers are hidden, cannot be judged by one's common sense. But why is the Witch of the Night serving as an assistant to Sci-fi? The number of investigators at the T-18 headquarters numbered 3,000 instead of 5,000. The only thing Feng Ziyi could comfort him was that Sci-fi was probably unknown at the headquarters. But the Witch of the Night is the second in command of T-18, who can call her? An incredible idea came to mind, and Feng Ziyi couldn't accept it at all. "Who are you? Who the hell are you?" she suddenly shouted hysterically. "You are not the Witch of the Night." "No. I don't believe it." Yuji unfolded her arms, ignoring the excited Feng Ziyi. She ruffled her hair, arranged her clothes, and every move was charming and affectionate. "Sir, who is this?" Roland was surprised when he discovered Feng Ziyi. "Aren't you on vacation? Which criminal are you going to arrest yourself?" Roland really didn't recognize Feng Ziyi. He has too many people to manage, not to mention that Feng Ziyi has been expelled from T-18. Even if she can successfully enter the headquarters, there is absolutely no way she will be familiar in front of Roland. "Aren't you looking for Chief Margaret?" Yuji unhooked his lips. "She was sent in by Margaret. Do you want to behave well?" Roland's expression lifted. "Definitely." Feng Ziyi's pupils shrank suddenly. Her words were out of tune and trembling to the extreme. Margaret. Of course she had heard the name. The last of the T-18 Big Three has the strongest combat power. Because his methods have always been straightforward and rude, he was arranged to be the Minister of Operations. It is precisely because of its aggressive style that the entire operation department of T-18 is a group of violent elements. Feng Ziyi looked down on the Witch of the Night, because she despised this kind of behavior of using beauty to obtain information. But she adored Margaret. This is what she should learn from. But what did she hear now? Margaret sent her in? Wasn't Sci-fi the one who sent her in? Feng Ziyi's thoughts were completely chaotic, and he collapsed again. What the hell is going on here? Yo, I'm not too timid, I'll commit the following crime. Roland finally recalled what Feng Ziyi had done under Yumi's reminder. "I don't even think that with your three-legged cat skills, you can do anything to Chief Margaret." "What hurt? You said why you can't think about it so much." "But you can't think of it, or else you wouldn't have been stabbed to the headquarters for these things that you use for personal gain." He didn't look at Feng Ziyi's expression, and eagerly said to Yuji-an, "Sir, the chief just brought me some new interrogation methods from the Holy Light Judgment. Let me come." Yuji-an decisively threw his hand to be the shopkeeper. "Come here." She left the interrogation room and lay outside in the sun on a rocking chair. There were screams in the house. Tsukamami snapped her fingers and blocked these voices with the energy of the evolutionary. An hour later, Roland came out. All his previous viciousness was gone. He leaned against the wall and dialed Tan Jingmo's phone number. After it was connected, there was a loud noise over there. This is a bugged signal. Roland naturally knew what to do. He first talked about some unrelated matters, and he was relieved when the noise disappeared. At the same time, Tan Jingmo said, "Okay, let's report." Roland collapsed a little. "Chief, why is Chief Margaret so young? This is unscientific. Or is she immortal? She should be a few years younger than you this year." Tan Jingmo's eyes suddenly darkened. "What did you say?" Roland stammered and recounted the story of Sci-fucking. There was no speech there for a long time. After a long while, Tanjingmo let out a long sigh and smiled. That's great. Sure enough, his guess was correct, but he had never been able to confirm it, so he couldn't be sure. Now the stone in my heart has finally fallen to the ground. It made him feel very unreal. But Roland has no IQ, and he won't lie to people in this kind of thing. Tanjingmo didn't explain anything, and hung up the phone. He got up and opened a book on the shelf. Inside was a letter with the word lemon written in the lower right corner of the letter. Tanjingmo looked at the letter for a long time and put it away. Nothing else is important, the important thing is that the younger sister is still alive, that's enough. This time, he absolutely cannot let her have an accident. At this time, the light crew. Chu Lingyun is talking to a rookie actor. He never casts a role based on whether the actor is a celebrity or not. As long as it makes him feel suitable at first glance, he will invite passers-by to join the group. It turned out that doing so made the filming of the whole film very smooth. Today's work on the schedule is over, but the staff didn't leave, because they knew that Chu Lingyun might have some inspiration for a while, so they called them up again. Chu Lingyun took the phone and hurriedly went to Sci-fucking, I have already contacted IFTV, and they are happy to free up the prime time for the drama The Lady of the Town. All the processes of Girls of the Town have been completed, and it is finally set to be released on October 1st as a national day file on Daxiatai. It's hard work, director Sci-fucking smiled, I've troubled you twice. What's this? It's nothing. Chu Lingyun waved his hand, you have a good acting talent, and you work so hard, who am I not helping you? After a pause, he asked curiously, but why are you thinking about acting? You obviously know a lot of other things, which are much easier than acting. Sci-fucking fell silent. After a while, she said softly, because I want my sister to see me. But whether it is a past life or this life, yet turn the tail can't see it. Chu Lingyun nodded, did not ask further, just said, your sister will be proud of you. Sci-fucking lowered his eyelashes and chuckled, well, I know. She has always known that she is the pride of turning the tide. She had their lives on her back, she couldn't just give up. Wait, Chu Lingyun suddenly seemed to have found something, you were in a very good state just now, hurry up, let's make up a scene, it's really amazing. You gave me a lot of inspiration. Sci-fucking. She smiled, her fists hardened. No one can compare, whether it is the King of Volumes or the King of Volumes. The other side. Yu Zion was dealing with affairs, he ordered the news of the rectification of the branch, and the three branches immediately began to act. Mr. Yu, here is, an email from you. The person in charge of the Daxia 0 branch hesitated, but was also very embarrassed, we don't know how to deal with it, so you can treat it as a joke. With a ding sound, the email was forwarded. Feng San stood behind Yu Zion and saw the entire contents of the email. He couldn't hold it back, and he burst out laughing. Yu Zion raised her eyes. Feng San immediately covered his mouth, ninth brother, I didn't see anything. But his eyes were still floating on the screen, and his expression was a little weird. This windy brain can't be bad, can it? How can you write such an email? Yu Zion only glanced at it, clicked delete, and said, where is it? In the T18 branch, Feng San said quickly, because she violated the T18 regulations when she was in office, the T18 headquarters will punish her severely. Yu Zion hummed lightly, go for a visit. Feng San pushed the wheelchair and sent Yu Zion to the T18 branch. At this time, Feng Ziyi had already been interrogated. T18's interrogation method is a weakened version of the Holy Light Judgment, but it is enough to push Feng Ziyi to the point of a nervous breakdown. In the end, she cried and called out all the little tricks she had done over the years, including but not limited to using T18 to do things for Father Feng and Madame Feng, intimidating and seducing others, and endangering their lives. It was precisely because she had done such a thing before that after meeting Sci-fucking, she still used her previous way of doing things, but she kicked the iron plate firmly and had no chance of turning over. The door of the interrogation room was pushed open, and Feng Ziyi's eyes remained blank. "Mr. Yu." Feng Ziyi's attention was pulled back by the voice. She saw the man's face, and her numb expression suddenly became excited again. "Wait, I have already sent an email to Zero, and when Zero knows, you will ruined." All the men she liked were snatched away by Sci-fucking, and Sci-fucking wanted to take both of them. If you are not greedy enough to swallow an elephant, sooner or later it will overturn. At the same time, she was very regretful. She knew that she should have chosen Uzian unswervingly at the very beginning. At least at that time, Uzian couldn't resist her at all, so she could only join the family. Now, she was to be looked down upon by a maimed. Feng Ziyi's fingers trembled. She even knew why the T-18 headquarters would come during the military training. She provokes a lot of people. This made her completely desperate. But if she can't help Sci-fucking, she can't take care of Uzian as an ordinary person. At this time, several young people filed in. They also wore uniforms, except that they were different from the T-18 investigators, and had the English letters 0 on the cuffs. 0. Feng Ziyi was stunned for a moment, and then burst into laughter. People were crazy. You're done. The email she sent was really useful. How could it be possible that Chief Zero was given a green hat? The next second, the young people knelt down on one knee in front of the man in the wheelchair. "Sir." The voices are the same, and the momentum is shocking. Uzian raised her hand and stood up slowly under Feng Ziyi's gradually solidified gaze. The second brother made a successful run. It is estimated that when the big brother is on the runway, the sixth is still struggling to make money. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god author, Qing Qian. Chapter 582. No external support. A man's legs are slender and his muscles are smooth, hiding strength. Feng Ziyi's eyes suddenly widened and her pupils shrank tightly. She stared at the tall and straight man, with only shock and disbelief on her face. Is Uzian's leg okay? How can this be? Everyone in Sijukan knew that the ninth master of the Yu family was born with a disability. When he was more than 10 years old, he was completely unable to walk and could not even stand up. It was also at that time that Mr. Yu completely gave up on his son and turned around to train Yu Yao and other grandchildren. Otherwise, with Uzian's identity, the ladies of the 49 cities would rush to marry him. But why did reality hit her hard again? How could Uzian's legs be good? But that wasn't what made Feng Ziyi collapse the most. She couldn't believe the two words she heard. Although she was severely mentally tortured, she was not stupid yet. Everything proved that Uzian was the man she met in Bazhu. Feng Ziyi suddenly laughed miserably, his face extremely pale. No wonder Sci-fucking wasn't afraid at all when he heard that she was going to report Zero. Her email was clearly a big joke. She was actually being played around by Sci-fucking and Uzian. Uzian didn't say anything, and his eyes never fell on Feng Ziyi. He just said two words, "Let's go." Feng San hadn't caught up with his thoughts yet. "Brother Ninth, are you leaving now?" Uzian's voice was calm. "That's enough." Feng San glanced at Feng Ziyi, who had completely collapsed, hissed, and left. Roland was horrified to see it. No wonder it is said that people with Zero are better at attacking the mind, and the most terrifying thing is to kill without bloodshed. It just complements Chief Margaret. But suddenly, Roland thought of something crucial. "Sir, he is miserable." He trembled and lowered his voice and said to Tsukimi, "Do you remember that when Ling wanted to marry us, we chose Chief Margaret, and the other party directly pushed their chief out? Although this marriage didn't work out, both of us know it. It is said that Chief Zero was not good looking and even tried to steal Chief Margaret's goods, so the marriage was ruined. Tsukimi thought for a while. This is the case. Is there any problem? What a big problem. Roland slapped his face. Sir Margaret didn't like Zero's chief, so she settled with Mr. Yu. Mr. Yu is Zero's senior executive, but no matter how high he is, he can't be higher than the chief. If this is spread back, Zero's chief would have to put some shoes on him. Wouldn't this be harmful to him? Yujian thoughtfully said, that's the truth. After a pause, she raised her lips and smiled, then let Margaret abduct him to RT-18 as soon as possible, so that it doesn't exist. Roland scratched his head and muttered, why? I think he is smarter than the guy named Huo. He was deeply worried about the future of the Huo family. Yujian said slowly, it's all about face. But she must let her junior sister stick to her true heart and not be deceived first. Roland was confused and shocked, and even more sad. He simply couldn't imagine that such a rough person as Chief Margaret would take the honey trap route. He must have suffered a lot of grievances. He had to report to the chief. On the other side, the Yin family. Yin Yongzi is reading a book. The door was pushed open at this moment. She looked up and was stunned for a moment when she saw the person coming. Then she was pleasantly surprised. Mom, are you back from your work in Free Continent? The matter is finally over. Mrs. Yin walked in and held her hand tightly. Yun 11, you must have a place in Free Continent. The Yin family is still too small after all. Yin Yongzi pursed her lower lip and sighed, Mom, I want to do it too, but it will probably take a long time. The three giants in Free Continent are the Holy Light Judgment Institute, the Eternal Academy, and the Intercontinental Research Institute. In addition, there are the four major families. There are only 10 people on the top of the clouds. They cannot be equal to these forces, but their status is extremely high. But none of them were within her reach. You're still young, it's early. Mrs. Yin comforted her, come on, let's go to dinner. I want to see what Nianyan is good at. Today is the weekend, and it is also the time for the direct descendants of the Yin family to gather for dinner. Nianyan would come back every week to get the resources distributed by the Yin family. According to his sister, he would be a bastard if he didn't take advantage of something, not to mention that this was what he deserved. You can also grab a few meals by the way. In order to allow the younger generation to develop better, the Yin family uses high-quality ingredients, which can replenish energy for the evolvers. Ever since Nianyan showed his absolute strength, his peers have been very cautious when seeing him, and no one who is not discerning will go to him for discussion. As for Sci-fi basically not returning to the Yin family, even if someone wanted to target her, they would not be able to do evil in Daxia under the nose of the supernatural administration. Nianyan was busy cooking, completely ignoring the glances from others. The dining table was unusually quiet. Suddenly a voice broke the silence. It's Mrs. Yin. Yun 11, you are going to report to Eternal College soon, right? Everyone else's eyes were focused on Yin Yongzi. Yin Yongzi naturally knew what Mrs. Yin meant, and she said modestly, I am a student in the preparatory class and have already passed the assessment. I will help the tutor assess the new students. Our Yongzi is still very good. He passed the assessment of Eternal College early and has good relations with several deans of the Intercontinental Research Institute. Mrs. Yin smiled and said, Yongzi will go to the inner college to study in the future. What do you have? If you don't know anything, you can ask her for advice. Hearing these words, the boys and girls all showed envious expressions. No one knows the teaching methods of Eternal College. They only know that all lectures and assessments at Eternal College are conducted in the holographic game Eternal. It's really amazing that a holographic game can bring out the real items inside. Correspondingly, the improved strength can also be retained. This is why the students trained by Eternal Academy, even if they are not evolvers, are far stronger than others. But Eternal College is very difficult to enter. Foreigners from free continent must have letters of recommendation. This aspect has already eliminated many people. Yin Yongzi was able to get the recommendation letter because she saved a lifelong honorary professor of Eternal College. Yun 11 is the only one who is better in our generation. The elder smiled. Others must learn more from Yun 11, and they have to get the admission letter from Eternal College to prove themselves. The resources of the Yin family were all tilted towards Nian Yin, which was very displeasing to him. Yin Yeonian put his chopsticks on the table with a pop sound, glanced at him, and said coldly, "Have you said enough?" Mrs. Yin was not afraid, her smile remained unchanged, and continued, "I heard that Yin went to Xia University. The college entrance examination in the Daxia Empire is so difficult, so he is very good at studying, but this child is an evolution after all, why can't he? It must be cultivated according to the way of an evolver. What can Xia teach him? In this case, it is better to let Yin follow Yun 11, so that even if he is not a student of Eternal Academy, he can still learn something. Don't wait until then." At this point, Mrs. Yin did not say any more. "Click till then." But both inside and outside the words were ridicule and yin and yang. A few years ago, Mrs. Yin felt discouraged. At that time, the tragedy of the Yin family had not happened yet. Yin Baikan and Yin Yeonian were still the most dazzling geniuses. The light of the rest of the Yin family was eclipsed by the two brothers. Of course, that includes Mrs. Yin's husband. And finally, time passed and everything turned upside down. Her daughter was the #1 genius in the Yin family and was able to enter the Eternal Academy. The descendants of Yin Baikan and Yin Yeonian were far inferior to Yin Yongzi. No matter how strong Yin Yeonian was, he still missed the opportunity to study in Eternal College. As long as Yin Yongzi can enter the inner courtyard and graduate successfully, no one in the Yin family will be able to shake her status. "Don't bother this Aunt Nian Yin smiled, "I will go to Eternal College to study, and my sister will help me. I don't have a habit of recognizing others as my sister." Mrs. Yin could no longer maintain her smile. "Why are you talking? You rely on your fists to speak." Nian Yin waved his hand. "Why, isn't this how evolutionaries speak?" The entire dinner table fell silent. Of course, Yin Yongzi has the highest bloodline among the Yin family, but she really has no fighting ability. Nian Yin's balanced development in speed, defense, and strength can be said to be a standard hexagonal fighter. Mrs. Yin couldn't laugh at all now. "Yin, you are joking, we are all a family, and our fists are used outside." Nian Yin looked at her strangely. "Who is your family? Is it because you have a big face?" Mrs. Yin was extremely embarrassed, her face turned blue and white. Yin Yongzi held her chopsticks and said in a low voice, "Mom, please stop talking. Sci-fi's family is very unreasonable, she has seen it before." Mrs. Yin did not stop, and continued to talk loudly. Jingle bell. Her cell phone ringing interrupted her. Mrs. Yin frowned, a little displeased. Yin Yeonian was too lazy to talk nonsense with people like the Yin family, so he chose to answer the phone. This mobile phone was just sent to him by Sci-fi. It is Yunchang's latest smartphone this year. Yin Yeonian is really not good at using these high-tech products. He is not familiar with the new call page and accidentally clicked on the speakerphone. The call is picked up. "Hello, are you Nian Yin's parent?" On the phone, the other party spoke a series of fluent free continent lingo with an authentic accent. "This is the inner courtyard of Eternal College. We have already checked the information of Nian Yin. Yes, it is confirmed that he has the qualifications to directly enter the inner court, but further assessment is required. The college learned that he has just been admitted to Xiamen University this year, so we do not require him to stay in the college all the time, but we need him to complete the required coursework within the specified time. Will he have time to come to Eternal College to take the assessment at the end of this month? Time it's easy for us to discuss." While writing this, I remembered again, Yinghuang's copy also cut off the copy of Norton University. See you tomorrow. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 583. The whole hall suddenly became quiet. It can even be said to be dead silent. Even Yin Yaonian couldn't react. What? In the microphone, the other party's voice continued, that's right, because Nian Yan's various physical qualities, evolver abilities, and bloodline meet the requirements of the inner court, he can directly participate in the assessment of the inner court. If he is not available at the end of this month, we can wait. There are many evolvers who can control speed. This is actually a very common evolver ability. But Nian Yan's speed has exceeded the speed of sound, reaching a very terrifying level. You can attack or defend, advance or retreat. Eternal Academy also wants to cultivate another lightning level evolver. Not to mention, Nian Yan has 3 letters of recommendation from the inner court. There is a list in the inner courtyard called the Eternal List, which ranks students according to their strength. Ojilia, Kukaki Minjio, and Tsukimi, whose real name has never been revealed, are all in the top 50 on this list. Even the teachers in the inner courtyard rarely see such a situation. 1 letter of recommendation is enough for an outsider from Free Continent to qualify for the Eternal College examination, let alone 3. The teachers in the inner courtyard immediately launched an investigation into Nian Yan. After knowing that he was a descendant of the Yin family, they safely recruited him into the inner courtyard. This year, the only outsider who was directly admitted to the inner courtyard was Nian Yan. Yin Yaonian said oh and then sorted out everything and asked Nian Yan, are you free at the end of the month? No. Nian Yan swallowed the last mouthful of rice. My sister's drama is about to be released, and I made an appointment with my desk mate to support her. He didn't notice at all that after he said these words, the living room became deathly silent, and there was no sound of breathing. Yin Yaonian nodded, but did not show any unnecessary expression. He just replied, he will only be free after the National Day. No problem, we can wait. The other party said, Mr. Yin, please believe us. After being trained by the Inner Academy, Nian Yan will definitely be able to rival Professor Lightning in less than 10 years. Lightning is recognized as the fastest among the evolvers, so he got this code name. Can Nian Yan be as good as Lightning? Yin Yaonian was finally moved. Okay, when the National Day is over, I will take him to take the assessment. Thank you Mr. Yin for your trust. If you have any questions, Mr. Yin can contact us directly by calling this number. The other party was very respectful and said, see you soon, Mr. Yin. The call ended just like that. There was still silence all around. No one in the Yin family could come back to their senses. Every word they heard was like thunder exploding in their ears. Eternal Academy, Inner Courtyard, Lightning, these words shocked the Yin family to the point of becoming speechless. Ms. Yin's hands froze in the air, and her smile completely froze. The Inner Courtyard of Eternal College personally invited Nian Yan? Did she hear wrongly, or was the admissions teacher at the Inner College crazy? There is only one word difference between the inner court and the outer court, but the inner court can be called the real combat power of the Eternal Academy. There are 3,000 disciples in the inner courtyard and 300,000 disciples in the outer courtyard. It can be seen from the quantity that the inner courtyard is where resources are heavily tilted. Ojilia and Kukaki Minjio both successfully graduated from the Inner Academy, and their abilities were far ahead of their peers. But because Yin Yongzi's combat effectiveness was not high, he failed to successfully enter the inner courtyard. Ms. Yin almost broke her chopsticks. She forced out a smile. Yao Nian, there are many people pretending to be the admissions department of Eternal College. You just came back not long ago and you don't understand the situation, so don't be fooled. Nian Yan heard this and sneered, "Auntie, your daughter didn't tell you that I had 3 letters of recommendation? If nothing else, wouldn't you go to the official website to check if my name is there?" His sister was indeed right. After these evolutionaries evolved, they still didn't know how to use high technology and were not as smart as the border collies he raised. Before Mrs. Yin could react, Nian Yin put down the phone and said coldly, "Look clearly, do you need me to teach you how to read? The official website of Eternal College will only publish the external admission list. Nian Yin's name is on the first line, followed by a sentence. Specially admitted students this year." Yin Yongzi was first in the second row, but she was not so conspicuous. Yin Yongzi stared at the words on the screen, her heart skipping a beat for a moment. She originally thought that Nian Yin just had a letter of recommendation, so why did he get an invitation from the inner court directly? Why? Her bloodline is obviously higher than that of Nian Yin. What's more, what makes Yin Yongzi even more unacceptable is that when faced with the invitation from the inner courtyard of Eternal College, Nian Yin actually said that he didn't have time. "What are you pretending to be?" The children immediately cheered. "Brother Yin, you are so awesome. Can you take me flying? If you want to take him, take me first. You go away." "I don't, we rock paper scissors." In the end, it was Yin Junping who spoke up to maintain order, "Eat." This meal left many people with mixed tastes. Only Yin Yaonian and Nian Yin had a big appetite and ate a few more bowls of rice. As soon as dinner was over, Yin Yongzi hurried back to his yard, not daring to look back. Mrs. Yin also followed her in. Yin Yongzi took a deep breath. "Mom, I told you to stop talking, just take a look." She once again became Nian Yin's control group and was stepped on by him. "Men are inherently stronger than women, you just need to be better than Sci-fi." Madam Yin comforted her, "It will be a matter of time before you enter the inner courtyard. When your abilities evolve, you will be truly incomparable enemy. Yin Yongzi can directly attack human cells. If she can change molecules, atoms, or even smaller particles and viruses, she will be the most powerful evolver, and no one can get close to her." Yin Yongzi has always been proud of being the only healer evolver, but she was severely hit by Nian Yin during this period. She was a little annoyed. "The genes of evolvers are inherently unstable, and I haven't evolved after so many years." "Yun 11, calm down, Mom will help you." Mrs. Yin lowered her voice, "I found out a piece of news in Free Continent. Those powerful people have interactions with NPCs in the Eternal Continent. You must find a way to build a good relationship with those high-level NPCs. Maybe you can get some secrets." Yin Yongzi pursed her lips, but the favorability of those NPCs is harder to improve than the last. Even an ordinary waiter in the inn is very difficult to deal with. "This is the guide I got from the Yu family." Mrs. Yin took out a book. "You should take a good look at it. You will definitely be able to do it." Here, from the crew of Light, Sci-fi received a call from Yin Yaonian. "Hey, uncle," she said lazily, "did Eternal College call you?" "Okay, then we will accompany my brother together then." After finishing the exchange with Yin Yaonian, Sci-fi turned his head and clasped his hands together. "Third senior sister, I'll leave it to you when the time comes." Eternal Academy evolvers and Onmyoji gather in groups, especially in the inner courtyard. There are more masters than one, so be careful in everything. "No problem." Yuji-un agreed and pointed to the bracelet on her hand. "This thing your sponsor gave you is very good. It can not only restrain your evolution aura, but also ensure your soul aura. And brain waves are not exposed." Sci-fi rubbed the bracelet and nodded slightly. Yuzian controls 8 major mineral veins in Free Continent. Among these mineral veins, gold mines are the least valuable, because gold mines can only be sold for money. It's the other veins that are truly valuable. The jade on this bracelet comes from these veins. Yuji paused and said, "Little junior sister, I know you are still alive. Si fucking raised his eyebrows. Well, I knew it when I saw Roland's legs getting weak when he saw me. After all, this bearded man snitches every day. Yu Jian hesitated for a rare moment, and then she tentatively spoke. Xiaju, did you and Lao Er know each other before? Si fucking was stunned for a moment and whispered, well, he actually knew my real name already. God knows that when Lu Qingning brought Tan Jingmo to her, she would be shocked for a whole year. She was the first to start working for her senior brothers, and she was the first to agree to Tan Jingmo's invitation. But she will never call him brother-in-law Xiaolu, she will only call him Beiji. Tan Jingmo's seniority in the teacher's sect overwhelmed her, so she couldn't even think about anything else. It's just that no one else in the teacher's sect knows that she still has this relationship with Tan Jingmo. Is that so? Yu Jian flexed his knuckles and smiled charmingly. It seems that I will have to fight with him when I go back. She didn't ask any more questions. For her, it was enough that Si fucking could still jump around in front of her. What are we going to fight for? Sang Yanking opened the door and came in. He only heard the last words, stop fighting, Ching Ching, your TV series has been officially announced, please post it on Weibo. Si fucking came back to his senses, here he comes. She logged into Weibo. The crew has officially released a poster, which is a picture of Zhang Ziyu riding a horse, carrying a spear, charging to kill the enemy. The light, shadow, and layout are both beautiful, and Si fucking likes them very much. She clicked forward. At official Weibo of Genkuo Female General V, Genkuo Female General is scheduled to be broadcast on October 1st at 8 o'clock every night on Daxia TV, Starlight Channel will be online at the same time, and the English version will be broadcast on IFTV, so stay tuned. The female general has attracted attention from all parties since the beginning of this year. After Zhang Suanjin's tomb was discovered, the popularity reached its highest level, and the audience was eagerly waiting for it. The mooses came non-stop. It's coming, wait for it to start broadcasting. Ching Ching wants to get better and better, looking forward to the Grand Slam viewing. I feel uncomfortable when I think about the plot, let me cry for a while first. The muses were very happy and rushed to tell each other, and a new round of lottery started in Kaihua. But the voice of opposition is still not small. As the old saying goes, don't be optimistic, these historical figures who are too famous are not so easy to film, and they have found so many amateurs to play them. The female general of the kingdom is not like the demon, which can be made up randomly and must follow history. Sit back and wait for the rush. Good morning. Please give me a monthly pass, thank you all. The pairing of Zhang Suanjin and Su Yunchu is really my aesthetic. The nickname Lightning is a tribute to the Flash. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 584. Alas, Si fucking really shouldn't have accepted this TV series. He has a troubled physique to begin with. If he wants to win a Grand Slam, he should be stable. I really hate that iron cannot become steel. Yes, in fact, she should have taken on Walking Alone at that time. Now Walking Alone has become a stinker together with Song Wenhua. It's a pity that such a good book is ruined. There is no doubt that among the actors in recent years, Si fucking is the one who can best resist drama. Devil has now begun its third round of star launches, and its ratings are still the first in the summer season, beating other new dramas instantly. Si fucking's dramas with female protagonists have become a breath of fresh air among all TV dramas about romance and family drama. It's not that no one followed suit, but because they couldn't support the show, they all declined. In addition, Si fucking is so good at acting that he doesn't need a stand-in in his acting or writing scenes. He is really good at acting. As a result, the audience who watched The Devil have higher expectations for other stars. Good looks and acting skills must coexist in order to carve out a way in the entertainment industry. But no matter how accomplished an actor is, he cannot be liked by everyone. Si fucking didn't care about these comments on the internet. It was nothing to her. The people who were chasing her ranged from holographic games to real life. The keyboard warrior really didn't have any offensive power. She was feeding Xiaobai with gold bricks. Xiaobai took one bite at a time and was extremely moved while eating. It's so nice to kiss the owner's father. Xiaobai had a full meal for the first time, rubbed his round belly and lay outside to bask in the sun. Sang Yanking felt that this was not a dog, but that it was smarter than humans. Yu Jian clicked his tongue. It's a pity that the second brother can't come out to see you. I still want to beat him. I guess even if I don't fight him, he will fight me. Junior sister, where do you stand? I fucking thought for a while, shall I cook for you? Then stand aside and cheer for you. She is really a considerate and good junior sister. Tsukimi. She immediately retreated to the door, with a drop of cold sweat even breaking out on her forehead. She was not afraid of anything else, but the food cooked by Si fucking. The ringtone of the cell phone broke the tense atmosphere. The man's voice was cold and the sound quality was very pleasant. It stirred the eardrums and danced on the apex of the heart. Ching ching, I'm outside. It's evening. Do you want to eat? Eat, Si fucking said cheerfully, I'll tell the music director and I'll come out right away, but after eating I have to come back and continue filming. Yu Zion hummed, okay, I'll wait for you. By the way, senior sister reminds you again, you must remember your purpose seeing this. Yu Jian raised his eyebrows and said slowly, you don't want Chiefling to wear small shoes for your financial sponsor, you bring him to our side as soon as possible. He dares. Si fucking stopped laughing immediately and said in a cold voice, if he dares to put on little shoes for brother Ju, when I meet him another day, I will break his legs. She obviously got the goods, but in the end they were snatched away by Zero's chief. This hatred is irreconcilable. Tsukimi echoed, anyway, you have to stick to your heart and don't get kidnapped. As soon as she finished saying this, she saw her junior sister packed her bag and ran away at a sprint speed of 100 meters. Tsukimi. Hopeless. While lamenting that Baike ran away on his own, Yu Jian was actually happy for Si fucking. She is a spiritual evolver and can clearly sense that the little junior sister was not happy when she was in the sect. All she hid was her face, but Si fucking even faked her smile. No one could really get into her heart. It's good to have someone who can take care of my little junior sister. It's just that if the other senior brothers, especially the second and senior brother, knew that the little junior sister was abducted by Ling's man, they would definitely be in a state of panic. But what does this have to do with her? She just needs to watch the show. Anyway, one of Yu Zion and his brothers must be injured. Tsukimi shrugged, put on sunglasses, and found a bar to drink. Outside the set, a black car was parked on the roadside. Si fucking opened the car door and sat in the passenger seat, and soon she fell into a deep sleep. After an unknown amount of time, the car stopped. Si fucking opened his eyes slightly, are you here? Yu Zion rubbed her head and asked in a low voice, didn't you sleep well? Huh, Si fucking's head was still falling. She rubbed her eyes and muttered, I was called up to film at 3 o'clock last night. Yu Zion frowned slightly, you need a proper rest. I know. Si fucking stretched out and blinked her fox eyes, brother 9th, after the National Day, my uncle and I will send Yin to Eternal College together. Do you want to go with us? Yu Zion thought for a moment and suddenly smiled, young lady invites you, but you are disrespectful. I'm not forcing you. Si fucking glanced at him, I'm not a bully. Yu Zion opened the car door and said in a clear and gentle voice with a smile, yeah, little bully. Si fucking. When she really becomes dominant, she will make him cry. Yu Zion chose a private restaurant, which was adjacent to the inner lake and very quiet. The waiters were extremely well educated. They did not show too much emotion after seeing Si fucking and served the dishes in an orderly manner. Si fucking pinched her chopsticks and thought about her lines, brother ninth, regarding 0 and T18, I. Uzion said, eat first, I heard your stomach growling. Your health is the most important thing. Si fucking was really hungry, so she ate a chicken leg first. After eating, she had forgotten what Uemi told her. The other side. The crew of the heroine of the kingdom is watching real-time public opinion online. Director Liu, the opinions on the internet are mixed. The screenwriter was a little nervous. There are only a few days until the National Day, and I'm afraid that all the firepower will be on Teacher Si by then. Director Liu waved his hand, don't be afraid, believe in yourself, believe in Teacher Si, and let the new media publicity release the final makeup photos of other characters. Because Genkyo Girl was filmed in a dangerous location in Bizhu, few entertainment reporters had the ability to follow the filming. Reuters didn't have a single photo, and all the materials were released by the crew on their own initiative. During the filming, the official makeup photos released only showed Zhang Ziyu played by Si fucking and Mrs. Zhang played by Tao Yunkai, and no other characters were included. Netizens were eager to know what kind of amateur could actually let Director Liu recommend the participation of other well-known actors. Director Liu felt happy when he thought that he was scared to death a few months ago. It scares those of you who dare not think boldly. New media personnel began to release the makeup photos in sequence. The first picture is of Zhang Haiping played by Mo Yishan. Mo Yishan forwarded this Weibo post. At Mo Yishan V, I died in the first episode, so please feel free to watch it. Netizens. It seems that the shadow demon brought to Mo Yishan is still there. There was nothing Mo Yishan could do. Who makes the demon still play on TV in a loop? The immortal in the show will be pulled out from time to time and whipped to death. Mo Yishan desperately needs the role of Zhang Haiping to restore his image. He hoped that when he went out he wouldn't get eggs thrown at him, but that someone would watch him cry. Keep happiness to yourself and give sadness to the audience. A perfect career as an actor. At official Weibo of Genkyo female General V, young and handsome, handsome in white, he is Zhang Suanjian. It is an honor to have Mr. Zhang Shuiyan, a descendant of the Zhang family, play this role. In the final makeup photo, the young man is wearing battle armor and fluttering white clothes, looking handsome and elegant. Just like what is described in the history books, it makes people feel like they were 1,500 years ago and were able to meet this dragon-like young general. He looks a little too handsome. Oh my god, he really isn't a star. He's clearly killing those top men who have been boasted about their looks, isn't he? Wait, descendants of the Zhang family? Blow it off, the Zhang family is full of loyal people and has no heirs at all. Zhang Haiping's family is indeed buried in the battlefield, but there are indeed other people in the Zhang family. The remaining few people have joined the Thousand Army Alliance. Just ask if the Thousand Army Alliance is real. But before netizens could ask, Kim Junmen had already forwarded this post on Weibo and hoped that netizens could support the first TV series Kim Junmen participated in and promote history and culture. At this time, netizens were shocked to the point of numbness. The network is already on the verge of collapse at this time. Indeed, no matter how famous the actor is, there is absolutely no descendant of the Zhang family who is more suitable for the role of Zhang Suanjian. But how did you invite someone like Zhang Shuiyan? What is the relationship between Goddess Si and the Thousand Army Alliance? Can we invite this too? The Saga Alliance will participate in the performance. What a top lineup, who else? However, this is not over yet. Immediately afterwards, the crew officially released the third final makeup photo. There are many cold weapons in this photo, which attracts all the attention. Some knowledgeable netizens have sharp eyes and recognized the names of these cold weapons. Holy shit, is this a hidden weapon of the Mo family? Silver needle flying flowers. Wait a minute, isn't the Jinghong shadowless needle already lost? Did the crew even do this? Are the models too carefully made? The history books of the middle school period contain the histories of several major families. In the past, Foreign envoys came to Daxia to study during the Great Xia dynasty. Therefore, the history books described in detail the Mahists' advanced mechanism techniques and hidden weapons. What model? This is the hidden weapon of the Mo family. Only then did netizens have time to read the copywriting on Weibo. At Genkuo Female General V, it is an honor to invite the current head of the Mo family to play the role of the head of the Mo family in the play. The hidden weapons shown in the picture are all treasures of the Mo family. Please look forward to a wonderful hidden weapon performance. The Mo family has not retreated and is still in charge of Mo City, and Mo Yanwen is also the lord of Mo City. He made several appearances and his picture appeared in the news. At that time, he attracted many fans, praising him as worthy of being the head of the Mahist family. His character and demeanor all followed the family tradition of the Mahist family. It's just that Mo Yanwen is very low-key, doesn't over-promote it, and the popularity is not high. And now, he appears in the cast list of the female general of the kingdom, and he also brings his own hidden weapon of the Mo family. Netizens. You were asked to find amateurs to act, but you directly found the descendants of the Zhang family and the head of the Mo family himself. In fact, I also found Emperor Yin himself Ovo. See you tomorrow. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 586. Mo Yanwen's voice spread to every corner through the microphone. The entire stadium was silent. All the entertainment reporters couldn't help but widen their eyes, and their hands holding the camera equipment became unstable. Even Lu Dao was stunned, almost staggering, and falling. What did I hear? I am now officially starting to wonder if my fan is a female star. What did you do behind our backs? This can also be archaeologically discovered. Sci-fi is awesome. From today on, you are my koi lucky goddess. The screenwriter looked at the girl beside him in a trance. His throat was dry. Teacher Si, is that true? She asked that, drawing the attention of others back. It's true. Si was calm. I was playing with ants while watching ants dig holes and accidentally saw a box. At first I thought it contained gold nuggets. I dug it out quickly and found that it was a blueprint that I couldn't understand. I was disappointed and lost a fortune, so I handed it over in a disheartened manner. I didn't expect it to be a hidden weapon that the Mo family lost. I can help the Mo family a small favor. Everyone. These remarks may sound like there is no real place, but it is set on Si, and all the logic is inconsistent. Heck. Zhang Shuiyan also picked up a microphone, and he smiled slightly. Qingyao and I are very grateful for Miss C's help, and I myself admire Zhang Suanjin very much, and it is an honor to be able to play the white-clothed military commander. Ji Qinjiao just nodded. She wasn't really cold, she just didn't know how to socialize. The entertainment reporters fell silent, their hearts trembling. This means that the Mo family and the Qinjun League are both powerful backstages for Si. Not to mention the entertainment industry. Looking at the entire 5 states of Xiaxia, no one has such a strong background as Si. How could anyone dare not to provoke her? It's just courting death. With a swoosh, all eyes were on the male reporter, pity for his ignorance. The male reporter's face instantly flushed red. His face was full of incredulity. His legs were trembling constantly, and he was completely unable to restrain the fear in his heart. Especially when looking at Mo Yanwen's smiling eyes, fear gripped his heart like an icy long snake. It's over. He's finished. The roadshow promotion will start soon, and those who are not related can be driven out. Si tapped the microphone. Shanglu. Shanglu immediately jumped forward and took the pale male reporter down. Unsurprisingly, this entertainment reporter was bought by other star teams in order to add more scandals before the release of Girls of the Town. But not only was it unsuccessful, but it also made Girls of the Town even more popular. With the escort of the 3 major families and the 4 major alliances, Girls of the town went straight all the way, and the number of people who made reservations to watch it was as high as 300 million. Director Liu laughed so hard that it was a very happy thing to have so many people accompany him to be frightened. On the other side, the Yin family. The day after tomorrow is the day when my sister's TV series will be released. You can watch it if you have time. Nian Yin was handing out posters of the national female generals to the children of the Yin family. Go around, do you want to travel in the clouds? The children went crazy in an instant, and nodded desperately in agreement. Brother Yin, you must do what you say, let's pull the hook. Brother Ian, you are too powerful. When you enter the inner courtyard, remember to tell us more stories. Nian Yin clapped her hands, hiding her merit and fame. Still a kid. The Supreme Elder Yin Pingsheng did not stop Nian Yin from promoting Sci-fi's drama. After all, Nian Yin is very important to the Yin family. He was the first student of the Yin family who was directly recruited into the inner courtyard in these years. But Yin Pingsheng is still a pity. If the tragedy hadn't happened, the Yin family would have gained a firm foothold in the Free State with the help of two brothers, Yin Baikan and Yin Yaonian. In Yin Yongzi's eyes, intense jealousy had begun to eat away at her heart and lungs, making her very uncomfortable. How long has it been since then? Nian Yin's status has overwhelmed her in the Yin family, isn't it because she has no fighting power? But she is the evolutionary who can truly save lives. The leaders of the Evolution Alliance all count on her. Why? Grandpa, he may not be able to pass the assessment. Can he be admitted to the inner courtyard after getting the assessment of the inner courtyard? Yin Yongzi pursed her lower lip and pinched her fingernails into her palm. The family is too biased. The elder was silent and did not speak, but sighed. Yin Yongzi had never considered that it was her who favored the Yin family before, and other people would have complaints. When the knife fell on her, it started to hurt. The children did not participate in the grudges between the adults, and they were still innocent. After Nian Yin left, they ran towards Yin Yongzi and were excited to invite her. Sister Yongzi, do you want to watch Sister Fucking's TV series with us? Sister Fucking is so beautiful, it's our first time watching a TV series. Yin Yongzi couldn't keep her smile a little bit, but she didn't want to destroy her image, so she could only calm down her voice. Sister doesn't have time, let's go and see. The children then took the autographed photo of Sci-fi and ran away happily. Grandpa, it's absolutely impossible to go on like this. Yin Yongzi looked gloomy. Do I have to wait until Yin Yaonian and the others have bought off the rest of the family? The elder's complexion also sank. I have established a good relationship with you. When you enter the Eternal Academy, you will learn from several teachers in the inner courtyard who are familiar with the Eternal Continent. You must evolve your abilities as soon as possible. The Intercontinental Research Institute is also researching. Yongzi, don't worry, you are the only person who can completely cure the evolutionary energy riot. Your value is unique, and no one dares to touch you. To move Yin Yongzi is to fight against all evolutionaries. Yin Yongzi took a deep breath, packed up her salute, left the Yin family, and got on the plane to Liberty Island. After arriving at Liberty Island, Yin Yongzi first found a hotel to stay in. Miss the captain of the guard handed her a stack of white papers. This is the member selected for the next experiment of the Intercontinental Research Institute. Because you are the leader of the experiment, you need to choose the final list. Yin Yongzi took it, glanced at the data sheet, and focused on one of them. She picked this one out and looked at it carefully. Name, Zhu Ruoan. Education, PhD student at Ethno University. Age, 29. Position, Honorary Professor of Xia University, Doctoral Supervisor. Yin Yongzi didn't look at the awards and other work experience that followed. She directly put Zhu Ruoan's information sheet aside. Tell me to the Intercontinental Research Institute, I want these few people enough. The surname of Xia Das is Zhu. I don't want her professor, she can't adapt to Liberty Island, and it's useless. The captain of the guard nodded and went to reply to the Intercontinental Research Institute. Yin Yongzi really didn't know Zhu Ruoan. Even if Zhu Ruoan overcomes a biochemical problem left over from the last century, it is not worth her concern. She deducted Zhu Ruoan's quota just because Zhu Ruoan was a professor at Xia University and came from the same university as Si fucking. She just wanted to let Si fucking know that Xiaoda was useless. What about the honorary professor of Xia University? What about the youngest doctoral supervisor? Can I get into the Intercontinental Research Institute and still have her hand? It can be seen that Xiaoda has no use, and is only making achievements in places other than Liberty Island. In the Free State, nothing is left. It's a pity that Si fucking didn't understand this truth, so he refused the invitation of the Intercontinental Research Institute to go to Xia University for archaeology. Thinking of this, Yin Yongzi felt better again. Eternal Academy hides dragons and crouching tigers. Nian Yan wants to pass the assessment of the inner courtyard. It is not that simple. The next day, Xiaoda. After filming, Si fucking went to the archaeology department of Xia University to get things, and also visited Professor Su, Professor Chen, and others by the way. Finally, she took a box of tea and went to Zhu Ruoan's office. At this time, Zhu Ruoan received a call from the Intercontinental Research Institute just after reviewing the doctoral student's dissertation. "Hello, madam." The other party's voice was polite and distant. "I'm sorry you didn't pass the final assessment of the research team." Zhu Ruoan was very surprised, but she didn't show it. "Can I ask why?" She has confidence in her resume. In the last round of interviews, several researchers at the Intercontinental Institute recognized her very much and expressed their strong will. How did it change in just a few days? "Sorry, it's because you don't match the style of the principal researcher of the research team you applied for." The other party didn't say much. "I hope Ms. Zhu can find a satisfactory job." The call just ended. Zhu Ruoan looked at the phone, a little unable to return to her senses. Tuk tuk tuk. The door was knocked at this moment. "I wish the teacher." Zhu Ruoan woke up and turned back suddenly, a little surprised. "Fu Cheng." Zhu Ruoan regretted that she could not accept Si fucking as her doctoral student, and it turned out that her vision was indeed narrow. With Si fucking's first level in the international entrance examination, he should go to Liberty Island to shine. Studying with her would be a waste of talent. After all, she had just been rejected by the Intercontinental Institute. "Sorry, teacher Zhu." Si fucking nodded slightly. "I heard your call by accident. Are you okay?" "Hey, it's nothing, come in." Zhu Ruoan smiled immediately. "I made you laugh. This is the call from the Intercontinental Research Institute." As she said that, she looked a little lonely and rubbed her eyes. "Oh, my skills are not as good as others, forget it. I can't blame others. Her research has reached a bottleneck and needs further study." Zhu Ruoan's international achievements are not low. The only place she can go is the Intercontinental Research Institute, but unfortunately she is not favored. Si fucking thought for a moment, then smiled. "Mr. Zhu, would you mind forming a research team with me?" However, her hearing is so good that she heard more than one paragraph. "What makes me unable to stand the pain in bed? It's my aunt, the enemy of my life." TVT. Ching Ching, who was lying on the bed, stretched out her hand for a monthly pass with difficulty. Erkang's hand. "The system has changed the link, and I can finally see the comments of Xingxiao and Xiang in the background. Let's interact a lot. Today, the Laoxiao and Xiang apps will be stopped. If there are any babies who haven't migrated, they will be migrated as soon as possible. See you tomorrow." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 587. Fu Qing, Zhu Ruoan was stunned for a moment. She opened her mouth, unable to believe what she heard. They form a research team. Zhu Ruoan is naturally very willing, but the research team is not so easy to establish, and it needs the support of funds, research directions, and research institutes. Since he did not take over the olive branch of the Intercontinental Research Institute, Sci-Fucking was not an official researcher of the Intercontinental Research Institute. Among the formal researchers, only those who have reached the level are eligible to form a research team. Even if a research team is established, it may not be able to apply for sufficient funds. Zhu Ruoan also heard that the Intercontinental Research Institute is not an organization that selflessly supports science and technology. The competition in the hospital is very fierce, because of the fighting, death is a common thing. But Zhu Ruoan wanted to learn more knowledge, and after she completed her studies, she could bring these technologies back to the Great Xia Empire. Well, Sci-Fucking smiled and apologized again. I'm sorry, I heard all the content of your call just now. I thought, Mr. Zhu, you must be in need of a research team, so I asked that. Zhu Ruoan hesitated for a moment. Just the two of us, isn't it enough? In addition to the main person in charge and several assistants, the project she had previously signed up for had 12 full-time researchers. It's not enough. Sci-Fucking thought for a while. I'm still filming. I wish you, teacher, wait, I'll call a few more people. Oh. Zhu Ruoan still didn't return to her senses. She sat upright with her hands on her knees, like a primary school student obediently listening to the teacher's lecture. Sci-Fucking dug out a phone number from the address book. After dialing the call, he said lazily, "Little prodigy, do you have time? I'll discuss something with you." Lu Xingkai jumped up and didn't ask what was the matter. Yes, Sister Ching Ching, wait for me, I'll come out immediately." He was almost suffocated in Liberty Island, and he was finally able to go out and do things. Seeing Lu Xingkai running as fast as a groundhog, Lu Xingheng raised his eyebrows. "Little devil, why are you running so fast?" "Sister Ching Ching is looking for me, I'm going to the Great Xia Empire." Lu Xingkai hugged his small skull bag. "Brother Stinky, you can never use me as a shield. Hey, you are really miserable. You don't have a girlfriend. You have to be pressed by your parents to go on a blind date. But you have opened your mouth, and you won't be able to marry in the future." Through the sunglasses, Lu Xingheng glanced at Lu Xingkai lightly. He got up, stepped forward in 2 or 3 steps, and took advantage of his height to directly lift Lu Xingkai up. Lu Xingkai was cowardly. You, what are you doing? Where is your eldest brother? I plan to accompany you." Lu Xingheng clicked his tongue. "You won't forget that you are on the hunting list of the revenge organization, right? You kid, go outside alone, just say it if you want to die." Lu Xingkai struggled for a long time, and could only agree for his own safety. Lu Xingheng said lightly, "Don't worry, I won't rob you of your sister Ching Ching, I have other things too." Lu Xingkai muttered, "Then you must be looking for Sister Tang Tang. Bad big brother, even use him as a tool man." After making an appointment with Lu Xingkai, Sci-Fucking called Ji Yun again. It was the first time she asked someone to work for her, and she had an inexplicable sense of accomplishment. "I wish you, teacher, we will submit the name of the experimental project first," Sci-Fucking said. "I will try to get them to approve it as soon as possible. I wish you to rest assured that you will be able to fulfill your dreams." Zhu Ruoan opened her mouth wide. "Yes, is it to be approved by the Intercontinental Research Institute?" "Yes." Sci-Fucking snapped his fingers. "This little prodigy I know is more favored, so let him be cued." Lu Xingkai was indeed the key training target of the Intercontinental Research Institute, otherwise he would not easily persuade the Intercontinental Research Institute to advance the international entrance examination. Zhu Ruoan's expression became dazed, and her soul was no longer in her body. "I still have something to do, I wish you a busy teacher." Sci-Fucking nodded and backed out. For the past 2 days, she has been running on both sides of the propaganda point and the light crew, and Chu Lingyun, the king of introverts, can't stand it anymore, so she gave her 2 days off. It just so happened that Girls of the Town started at 8 o'clock tonight, so she naturally wanted to watch it on time. Sci-Fi returned to Yu Zion's villa, lay on the sofa, and asked Xiaobai to squeeze her shoulders. Under the temptation of gin brick, Xiaobai could only dance on Sci-Fi's back with tears in his eyes, stomping on her with his pitiful paws, and would be disliked for his lack of strength. There's nothing wrong with it, just a poor little dog. The hard work finally stopped when Yu Zion came back. Someone took over, and Xiaobai immediately ran away with his gold bricks in his mouth. Sci-Fu rolled over, and the fox's eyes were bright. Come on, brother Ju, and Feng Sangzi sinking shadow merchant Lu, come watch my TV series together. Yu Zion glanced at the few people behind her, her eyes were light, and it was difficult to distinguish the depth. Feng San. Who should he listen to? In the end he decided to set up another makeshift projector in the yard and get out with the other 3 troubled brothers to watch. In the hall, Sci-Fi turned on the projector. It was still 10 minutes before 8 o'clock, but the discussion on the internet was already in full swing. The show hasn't aired yet, and it has already exploded in hot searches. Who knows that I didn't do anything today, I just kept refreshing the materials related to the lady of the town. I was sitting in front of the TV at 6 o'clock. Me too, I have no intention of eating, I just want to watch dramas. There are only 4 episodes in a week. You are not human in the crew, I know you've finished filming, give me a day to finish it. Let me see the handsome guys and beauties wash their eyes. Yu Zion saw that the girl also straightened her back and stared at the projection screen intently. He raised his eyebrows, tilted his head, and asked in a low voice, "Are you nervous?" Sci-Fi was silent for a moment, but still responded, "Well, I'm very nervous." She put more effort into the drama Girls of the Town than in Crossing the Devil or even when she was Yunlin. This is the history she has seen with her own eyes, and she really wants to tell everyone about this history. At 8 o'clock sharp, the Town Girl was officially launched. At this moment, the number of viewers has reached 80 million. Because it was the weekend, every household turned on the TV and computer. Lu Xuanyi is also among them. He is a historian. While studying official history, he will also watch some historical dramas. But to his great disappointment, the historical dramas over the past 20 years, except for a De Zhao Tianzi in the past few years, which can restore the full picture of history, other so-called historical dramas are just romance dramas dressed in history. Lu Xuanyi does not think that these historical figures who have left a deep impression on the history books have no feelings. On the contrary, they are extremely emotional. But in their hearts, the family, the country, and the world must be ranked first, and even if they are reluctant, some personal feelings must be given up. To love to death for a little thing is to insult these heroes at all. I don't know if Girls of the Town will bring him a refreshing surprise. Lu Xuanyi stared at the TV closely. The screen was pitch black, and a few seconds later, a huge sun slowly rose, illuminating Yong'an City, the 1,000-year-old imperial capital that was still sleeping. Guidian Orchid Palace, Shenxiao and Jianke, row upon row. The guards were cleaning up the corpses on the ground, and the civil and military officials crossed the palace gates and entered the main hall. This is a 7-second silent bird's-eye view showing the bustling city of Yong'an. Then came a large line of characters. Summer calendar 671 years. This was the year when Emperor Yin was 14 years old when he ascended the throne. Lu Xuanyi's expression lifted. This was the most significant turning point in the Great Xia dynasty, and it was also the foundation for laying the foundation for the prosperity of the Great Xia dynasty. But because it is too difficult to film, before the Girl of the Town, no drama has filmed this historical note generously. A few minutes later, the screen flipped, and 4 people came out of the palace. This is Zhang Haiping, the marshal of the town played by Mo Yishan, and Mo Yanfen, the head of the Mo family, played by Mo Yanwen. I'm gone, I don't know when I'll be back. Zhang Haiping clasped his fists and smiled, with brother Mo protecting Yong'an, even if I die, I can rest assured. Mo Yanfen also smiled, brother Zhang, don't worry, the Mo family protects Zhongzhou and swears by life. Hearing this sentence, Zhang Haiping showed a relieved look and laughed. Without too much dialogue and narration, Lu Xuanyi could see from Mo Yishan's superb performance that from this moment on, Zhang Haiping knew that he was gone and would never come back. He smiled and decided to die. After saying goodbye to Mo Yanfen, Zhang Haiping rode away with the whip, with thousands of Jiang's army behind him, mighty. The place they are going is Yanmen in Bizhu. It has been devoured by the barbarians for a long time, and the people are struggling. They must take Bizhu back. The camera is stretched at this moment, the sun is gradually setting, and behind them is the city of Yong'an, which is getting smaller and smaller, until it disappears completely. A drum beat fell, the splendid sunset surged, and then 4 characters were formed. Town Girl. A TV series, but made the effect of a movie, full of sincerity. Just this short 5-minute title has completely pulled the audience into the war-torn era 1,500 years ago. As a big heroine drama, Sci-fi did not appear in the first 2 episodes. This is a big taboo, and it is easy to make the whole TV series hit the street. Sci-fi's eyes remained motionless, and his palms sweated slightly until a cold hand covered hers. So nervous? Other people's opinions don't really matter that much. Sci-fi was stunned for a moment, then smiled, this is also me reviewing myself. She said she wanted to surpass herself, which was definitely not a lie. As time passed by, Sci-fi found that she was also immersed in this TV series. When Zhang Haiping led the 40,000 Zhang army to guard Yanmen alone, she noticed Yu Xian's body tense for a moment. Sci-fi raised his head, what's wrong? Yu Xian shook her head slightly and smiled softly, it's nothing, it's a good shot. And the first climax of the play has finally come. The barbarian general frantically asked his soldiers to attack Zhang Haiping, but no matter how many injuries he suffered, he did not fall. His eyes were tough and blood dripping. He didn't speak, but every cell in his body was telling everyone. Zhang Haiping, he will never die on his knees. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival. A long-lost play within a play. In fact, the general inspiration for this book was found when Emperor Ying was put on the shelves. The emotional tone of the ancient part was established after I read The Age of Awakening at the beginning of last year. I am glad that everyone likes this story now. The online text is homogeneous seriously, but what I wrote is not just a cool article. I hope everyone will like it in the next big episode. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 588. Behind him was a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. He led 40,000 Jiang's troops to guard Yanmen and fought until the last moment. Zhang Haiping did it, and he is worthy of the name of Marshal of the country. Reinforcements arrived, and the barbarians finally retreated in fear. The setting sun was like blood, reflecting the broken land. Yu Xian looked at it and calmed down. This part was shot really well. But in fact, the Bizhu battlefield at that time was 10 times more tragic than what was shown in the TV series. It was a road carved out with the blood of 40,000 people. One person is missing. Time has passed for too long, but Yu Xian still remembers that he finally solved the trouble in Zizhu and rushed to Bizhu non-stop regardless of the obstruction of other soldiers, but failed to see Zhang Haiping for the last time in time. He couldn't even save Zhang Haiping's body. It was also at that time that he saw a man rushing down from the city wall from a distance and heading straight to the center of the battlefield. Such a thin body, but he dared to confront the barbarian general who was more than 2 meters tall, and snatched Zhang Haiping's body back. At that time, his heart was shocked. Fortunately, he arrived and saved the little boy. Otherwise, even if he killed those barbarians, he would not be able to prevent Zhang Haiping from being humiliated after his death. He still remembered that little boy's name. No clothes. How can I say that I have no clothes, but I share the same robe with you? It's a very good name. This little strategist helped him a lot, and he could see another emperor's heart in him. It's a pity that there are too many heroes and too many unknown people in history. The little military strategist did not leave his name or even a few words in the history books. He would occasionally write this poem to remind himself of what happened in the past. Brother Ninth, I noticed the change in the man's mood. She raised her head, followed Yu Xian's gaze, and saw the words hanging on the wall. Si's expression suddenly dawned when he saw how can I say that I have no clothes, but I have the same robe as my son. Chi Yu Wu Yi was originally a poem describing the soldiers before the expedition. She saw that he had written too many poems, so she took it to heart and took a name from it. I'm fine, Yu Xian sighed softly, I just remembered what happened a long time ago, let's continue reading. The next plot is familiar to both of them. The second half of the film was shot using parallel montage. Here Zhang Haiping's body was escorted back to Yong'an, and in Yong'an City, Zhang Suanjin went to Zhou Yongho's mansion early in the morning and gave Su Yunchu a boogie. Both of them are martial arts practitioners. They are sitting under the high eaves and looking at the north. Su Yunchu looked worried, I don't know what's going on with Uncle Zhang. The barbarians are much bigger than us, so we really don't have an advantage. Zhang Suanjin raised his eyebrows, Dad, he is good at using the art of war. He once used 10,000 elite soldiers to block 100,000 enemy troops. We are a little better than him. Su Yunchu glanced at him, shameless, Uncle Zhang is the marshal of the country. Zhang Suanjin just smiled and raised his hand to signal her to give him the bud. He stood up and went around behind her and put it on her head for her. Dad and I have agreed that if you need to go to the battlefield in the future, I will accompany you. Su Yunchu touched Buletin on her head and whispered, my martial arts is better than him now, and he can't stop me. Oh, Zhang Suanjin laughed lazily, if it's my turn to go to the battlefield one day, don't wait for me. There are so many good men in Daxia, and I think the young master in the Prime Minister's mansion is pretty good. I'm a rough guy, I only know how to fight and kill. It's better to be without him. Su Yunchu raised her eyebrows and gritted her teeth, Zhang Suanjin, you are seeking death. If you die, I won't even collect your body from you. She drew out her sword and struck Zhang Suanjin directly without saying a word. Su Yunchu's martial arts is indeed not bad, and the two of them can be evenly matched. Miss, spare your life, spare your life. Zhang Suanjin had no weapons in her hands and could only beg for mercy, okay, I know I was wrong. Su Yunchu took back the sword, I still say the same thing, if you die, I will not collect your body. Zhang Suanjin smiled lightly, I said the same thing. If I take over Dad's position, don't wait for me. The scene ends with the two of them looking at each other and smiling. At this moment, only he knew that he was telling the truth. Only she knew that what she told was a lie. End of episode 1. In the yard, Feng San and several grown men were holding each other's arms and crying. Xiaobai looked at this and that blankly, and finally chose to hold the gold brick and continue eating. Online articles about the female general who ruled the country have exploded. Almost everyone in the audience waited for 10 minutes between commercials before finally having time to start the discussion. I was stabbed in the first episode. Are you still a human being? The screenwriter, I'm going to kill you. It has nothing to do with the screenwriter. This is something that really happened in history. It makes me cry. I am willing to let the dog immortal Lord die 10,000 times in exchange for the resurrection of Marshal Zhang. I saw that the relationship between Zhang Suanjin and Su Yunchu was so good, but then it ended like that. I couldn't help it, and really wanted to go back in time to save them. Daxia Channel and Starlight Channel broadcast it at the same time, but the ratings are not low at all. On the Daxia TV side, the staff are also going crazy. Director, the record has been broken. The record has been broken again. He has worked at Daxia TV for 10 years and has never seen such high ratings. The director of Daxia station was crying and had already finished crying on a packet of paper. Stop talking to me, let me cry quietly for a while. Staff member. If it weren't for the fact that he had to work, he would definitely be squatting in front of the TV and watching. Sci-fi also received news from friends from all walks of life. Ah, ching ching, Yu Tang screamed on the phone, it's so beautiful, even better than the devil. You succeeded, ching ching. My roommate watched the English version and she burst into tears and couldn't stop. Sci-fi exhaled slowly and smiled lightly, that's good. At the same time, she also started looking online for feedback from other viewers. It is indeed a grand scene that has not even been broadcasted in the Demon. The real history makes the audience feel more involved. Director Lu made a special phone call to congratulate Teacher Si. Congratulations. You have polished these 2 episodes with your own hands. I must thank you. Without Si, there would be no the female general who presided over the country. When the call ended, Director Lu just wanted to get up and dance in excitement. Beside him, the screenwriter looked at the comments on the internet and was frightened. It's good that we are a historical drama, otherwise I would definitely end up like Teacher Mo. I have to get eggs thrown at me every time I go out. Director Lu laughed, okay, the second episode has begun. The screenwriter is even more worried. She felt that the second episode was even more sadistic than the first, and she wanted to find a place to take refuge first. The second episode begins with Zhang Haiping's funeral. In just a short moment, Zhang Suanjin restrained his arrogance, inherited Zhang Haiping's position, and rushed to Bizhu with 8 other brothers. It's still a montage shooting technique. Zhang Suanjin was fighting in Bizhu, and Su Yunchu was practicing martial arts in Zhongyonghao Mansion. The two communicated through letters. This went on for several years. Until Su Yunchu was 24 years old. She is still unmarried. The eldest lady must be happy. Your birthday is coming soon. The war in Bizhu has been successful recently. As long as the battle is won, General Zhang will be able to return to the imperial court. The maid smiled and said, then let the master and your majesty preside over your wedding. Miss, you have been waiting for so many years, and finally you have waited. Su Yunchu snorted slightly, I'm not waiting for him, so he's nothing. Although she said this, her eyes were filled with smiles. If the story develops in this way, it will be a match made in heaven. But this is a story, not history. In the torrent of history, Su Yunchu was shocked to hear that the barbarians had gathered a large army. 8 of the 9 sons of the Zhang family were killed in the battle, and the bodies were brought back one after another. The Zhang family's funerals continued, and even Mrs. Zhang could hardly hold on anymore, but she still had to give shelter to the young Zhang Zheyu. So, in a dark night, Su Yunchu put on a set of armor that Zhang Suanjin had given her and headed to Bizhu without stopping. On the 1,000-kilometer road, the woman held the horse's belly between her legs, leaned down, and kept whipping the horse, faster, faster. She looked anxious, wishing she could fly and come directly to Zhang Suanjin. Not to mention Zhang Jiajin, even the barbarians did not expect that a woman could have a spirit that was not weaker than Zhang Suanjin. But she was still late. She snatched Zhang Suanjin's body and killed several barbarian soldiers, but failed to spare his life. Suanjin, Suanjin, Su Yunchu hugged him, can you hear me? You said you wanted to marry me, you said that? Why don't you speak anymore? The young man still looked the same as before, his voice and appearance were still before his eyes, but this time he couldn't coax her or compete with her like before. You broke your promise, and so did I, Su Yunchu murmured, Why did I come to collect the body for you? She suddenly laughed, but tears fell silently. Suyunchu hugged him onto the horse and whispered, "Let's go, I'm here to pick you up, let's go home." Afterwards, the two were buried together in Bizhu. Everyone left the same words before leaving. Take care of Teruzuki. Zhang Zheyu is the only daughter of the Zhang family and cannot suffer any loss. Time flies by at this moment, and a few years later, Zhang Zheyu has completely grown up. The camera finally fell in front of her dressing mirror. All the jewelry, rouge and thrush were put into the box, replaced by a long gun. From then on, my daughter no longer wore red clothes. The plot of the female general of the country has finally begun. 2 90-minute episodes of a TV series are as good as a movie. The audience didn't even come back to their senses. They just felt that time went very fast and they didn't watch enough. Who said we can't make historical dramas? Who said that? Director Lu said that these 2 episodes were directed by Sci-Fucking from beginning to end. Sci-Fucking is always awesome. I cried to death. I really want to go in and kill all the barbarians. Me too, take me one. The barbarians want the Zhang family to be extinct. 1500 years later, in the land of the 5 states of Daxia, we are all the Zhang family. It's really difficult to write a play within a play. The plot of Zhang Suanjin and Su Yunchu has also been written in the play within the play. You can give them a small monthly vote. Ovo, see you tomorrow. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 589. It's unbelievable that these are only the first 2 episodes. The heroine I am most looking forward to has not yet appeared. The TV series has been made into a grand movie. The crew is really awesome. Having a family, a country, feelings, and love, these are historical figures of flesh and blood. I am going to read history books. I think it is most appropriate for Sci-Fucking to invite a descendant of the Zhang family to play the role of Zhang Suanjin. The actor who played Zhang Suanjin last time made the military commander in White a ruffian alive. The screenwriter didn't know why he was crazy. It was actually written that Zhang Suanjin faked his death and went into seclusion with the one he loved so much he deserved that. The movie didn't even recoup the cost. I want to apologize to the crew and Sci-Fucking. You really respect history and the audience. I look forward to Sci-Fucking becoming a Grand Slam queen during the awards ceremony next year. Hashtag the female general of the country. Hashtag Zhang Suanjin, Su Yunchu. Hashtag Zhang hyping. Hashtag Sci-Fucking. Hashtag. The hot searches immediately exploded, and the number of discussions on each entry exceeded 100 million. The data of other TV series combined are not even a fraction of the data of the female general of the country. Many netizens have also discovered that many historians have paid attention to Sci-Fucking and the cast of Genkuo female general. The ratings for the first 2 episodes have also come out, and both Starlight Channel and Daxia Channel have exceeded 10, which is double the number compared to the premiere day of The Devil. When Sci-Fucking looked at his fan base, which had begun to soar again, and saw that many MUSI had bought a set of history books of the Great Xia dynasty to study, his eyes suddenly became heavy. She blinked, but still couldn't stop the tears from falling. Yu Xian's eyes suddenly changed. He lowered his head and said softly, "Why are you crying?" Sci-Fucking rubbed his eyes. "I was wondering why they were such good people and disappeared so early." Yu Xian was stunned for a moment. After a long while, he slowly said, "They are gods who came down to help the Xia dynasty overcome the disaster. After completing their mission, they returned to the sky, so they are always here." Sci-Fucking was stunned for a few seconds. "I'm not a child." "Yes, the girl is not a child anymore." Yu Xian smiled slightly. "Why do you still need to be coaxed?" His final tone was cold, causing ripples in his heart. Bang bang bang. Sci-Fucking heard her heartbeat again, and she could smell the cool moonlit cinnamon on his body. His breath became clear at this moment, cold and gentle. She had never experienced this feeling with a second person. Sci-Fucking quickly lowered his eyes, clasped his hands behind his back, and replied calmly, because I'm popular. She has been coaxed by Ye Turning since she was a child, and Lu Qingning also takes good care of her. Growth often comes at the cost of loss. She could stand on her own and take care of others, but she still wanted to keep Ye Banlan alive. Yu Xian's eyebrows moved, and he suddenly turned his head and said, "Look." Si was stunned for a moment and looked along the direction of his finger. That's exactly the north. The weather is very good today, the sky is cloudless at night, only the stars and the moon are shining brightly. Countless stars flashed in the sky, illuminating the entire world. After people die, they turn into stars, Yu Xian said lightly. As long as we don't forget them, they will always exist, and so will your sister. Si's pupils suddenly shrank, her fingers trembled slightly, and her heart trembled. Brother Ninth, thank you. It's 11 o'clock. Yu Xian raised his hand and patted it gently. It's time to go to bed. Si groaned, then we still need a bed warmer. Yu Xian's eyebrows raised higher. What? It's nothing. Si picked up his coat and went upstairs. I'm going to bed first, and you also need to go to bed early. Yu Xian watched her open the door of the game room. Sleep in the game room again. Well, Si opened the hatch and lay down. My strength is not enough yet, I need to improve as soon as possible. On the other hand, it was actually Daxia Chao who did not have enough time left for her. She knew that Emperor Yin's death was coming soon and she wouldn't have much time to spend with him, but she couldn't bear to see him. For her, Emperor Yin was indeed her natal idol. Yu Xian closed the hatch for her and smiled at her through a layer of glass. Good night. The next day, Lu Xingkai and Lu Xinghong arrived in the Daxia Empire. When he saw Si, who was almost mummified, in a small shop, Lu Xinggen's sunglasses almost fell off. Why are you dressed like this? Si gestured and asked them to enter the box. After closing the door, she took off her hat and sunglasses and sighed, the female general is more popular than I thought. If it weren't for something else, I wouldn't dare to go out. Lu Xingkai burst into tears. Sister Qing, you acted so well, you made me cry. Si smiled, I haven't appeared yet. Lu Xingkai. Oops, it's too early to flatter me. Lu Xinghong snorted lightly, he is indeed a brat. Sister Qing, what do you want from me? Lu Xingkai immediately changed the subject. You said that as long as I can do it, I will do it. I need you to form a research team at the Intercontinental Research Institute. Si paused, we will choose cell engineering as the topic. No problem, Lu Xingkai agreed, I haven't studied a topic for a long time, and those old guys are urging me every day. Si nodded, well, I know a teacher who has made great achievements in this field. I want her to continue her studies at the Intercontinental Research Institute. Lu Xinghong crossed his arms, okay, I'll leave this kid to you, I'll go to the Western continent for a walk. Western continent, Si raised an eyebrow. Lu Xingkai sold Lu Xinghong directly, he is going to find Sister Tang Tang and kneel on the washboard. As soon as he finished speaking, he was punched on the head. Lu Xinghong said coldly, you kid, you are looking for death. Let's go. Si snapped his fingers, let's go to Xia University. The three of them separated. On the way, Lu Xingkai grabbed Si's arm tightly, Sister Qing, you and I are the first to know each other. How can you introduce his girlfriend to him first? You are treating one favorably. Si. She just said it casually at the time, not knowing when the relationship between Lu Xinghong and Yu Tang became so good. Si refused ruthlessly, you are still young. I graduated with a PhD. You have just celebrated your 16th birthday, and your eldest brother is about to retire. Oh, then he is indeed an old man. Si didn't want to talk nonsense with Lu Xingkai. She used what she had learned throughout her life in T18 to escape the crazy passers-by and finally arrived at Zuru Yuan's office. She knocked on the door, best wishes, Teacher. Come in, the door is unlocked. I fucking pushed the door open and saw Zuru Yuan crying in front of the computer with a packet of paper. However, her eyesight was also very good, and she could clearly see the words female general of the kingdom in the lower right corner of the screen. After seeing her, Zuru Yuan cried louder, "It's so good that you are still alive." I fucking coughed lightly, "Teacher Zhu, you are too involved in the drama." I cried over and over again after watching it. This is already the third time Zuru Yuan wiped away her tears. The performance was great. After Zuru Yuan calmed down, I fucking pushed Lu Xingkai in front of her and smiled, "Teacher Zhu, this is the leader of our research team. Even though he is young, he was the first in the international joint examination 9 years ago." Zuru Yuan's eyes widened and her tone of voice changed. "Are you the child prodigy who took first place in the international entrance examination at the age of 7? Lu Xingkai corrected her seriously, "It's 6 years, 11 months, and 25 days old." Zuru Yuan. "Who will wake her up?" Zuru Yuan took a deep breath, "Fu Qing, thank you so much." She didn't know what level the researcher she had screened out was, but Lu Xingkai was a level. He didn't reach S level because he was too young. After all, the existing S-class researchers at the Intercontinental Research Institute are all over 60 years old. Zuru Yuan had heard that there was an S-class researcher in his early 20s, but it was a pity that he died in an experimental accident. "It's a trivial matter," I fucking said lazily, "I'm very happy that I can help you. You guys can chat, but I have to go back to filming." On this day, the discussion about the female general who presided over the country has not dropped and is still rising. There was even more wailing on the internet, and viewers have been waiting for tonight's update. The third episode starts at 8 o'clock, rush. Who can't wait? I'm right, I can't wait to see King King's baby. You lied to my tears again, my tears are worthless. The third episode is the first episode where I fucking officially appears. She plays Zhang Ziyu, who is only 18 years old, and her age is very suitable. The story begins when Yanmen in Bazhu is attacked again. The war spreads back to Yong'an City. The current emperor of the Xia dynasty is discussing with the civil and military officials who will go on the expedition. In the general's mansion, Zhang Ziyu had already put on armor. This is a very familiar scene to I fucking, because the first time she went to audition was this scene. At this moment, hundreds of millions of viewers were sitting in front of the screen, watching the girl become a generation of female generals. On the screen, Zhang Ziyu turned her head, smiled suddenly, and suddenly turned into a smart young girl. But the next second, she slowly knelt down and became the Zhang family's only orphan girl. She grew up under the care of 9 brothers, Zhang Haiping and Zhang Suanjin. She was supposed to be carefree. When she became an adult, she was married by Emperor Yin and lived until her death. But the war is urgent, and as a member of the Zhang family, she must shoulder her due responsibilities. Listen to what she said, "I have received less training from my father and have been more grateful to the country. Now that my father and brother are gone, Your Majesty is also sleeping here. If I don't go, who will guard the gate of Bianhuang town?" He also heard her say, "If I don't go, the people of Yanmen will suffer from displacement again. If I don't go, how can I be worthy of the Zhang family's army who died in the battle?" I also heard her say, "I must go, I don't dare to defeat my father and brother's pride." The 18-year-old girl held a spear and smiled at Mrs. Zhang while sitting on horseback, "Mom, wait for me to come back." But everyone knows that once she leaves, she will never come back. Then you know that it is hard to disobey the destiny, and you should do it without hesitation. Even though there are thousands of people, she still goes. Zhang Haiping's daughter will also die on the battlefield. Good morning. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 590. The sunlight was like molten gold, flowing slowly on the ground. The girl galloped her horse into the air and faced the sun with high spirits, like a golden god of war. Behind her, Mrs. Zhang was holding onto the threshold tightly, her eyes blank and stunned. She couldn't even cry anymore. This scene is so similar. Just like one day more than 10 years ago, Zhang Haiping led his army to the north. She went out to see him off, but only received back a corpse. There were also her 9 sons, who all said before leaving that they would come back to accompany her to live out their old age when the war calmed down. But as Ji Chunyuan once left a prophecy. The 9 sons of the Zhang family left, but no one returned them. The general's mansion was flooded with coffins one after another. Now, that day has come again. Looking at Zhang Ziyu, Mrs. Zhang also smiled and said softly, "Okay, I'll wait for you to come back." But at this moment, from Tao Yunkai's multi-layered emotional performance, the audience suddenly realized that Mrs. Zhang also knew that Zhang Ziyu's departure was a road of no return. She lost her husband, her son, her daughter-in-law, and now she had to give away her only daughter. But as the backbone of the Zhang family and Zhang Ziyu's spiritual sustenance, she must not fall. The camera finally freezes on Mrs. Zhang. As the sun sets, she is still looking at the north, refusing to leave. Compared with the first and second episodes, the third and fourth episodes did not have any big scenes, but they still set off a new craze. Holy shit, I'm such an old guy, I can't believe my wife acted it, she did such a great job. It turns out that good acting is really a shame in the drama. They are all dramas with female protagonists who can connect Zhang Ziyu and Su Yiyan. Woo woo woo, baby King King's ability to express emotions is so strong, one look can make me cry. Sci-fucking, you are worth it? Because of his good looks, Sci-fucking often gives many people the impression that his face is the only one worthy of the title of gorgeous face. This is also where many actors are troubled. It is precisely because appearance outweighs acting skills. Even if their acting skills are excellent, the audience always complains that their acting skills are too poor and they are like a vase. Therefore, some actors do not hesitate to destroy their appearance in order to win higher awards. Over the years, only Yunlin, at the peak of her appearance, was still able to crush others with her acting skills. The Demon is an imaginary fairy tale drama, and the requirements for appearance are inherently high. Many history fans boycotted the drama The Female General of the Kingdom because Sci-fucking was too beautiful and they were afraid that she would turn Zhang Ziyu into a face-saving vase. But in these 2 episodes of performance, Sci-fucking used her peak acting skills to make the audience ignore her appearance and only focus on her every emotional expression. More knowledgeable people have discovered that Tao Yunkai, as a movie queen, was completely brought into the drama by Sci-fucking, and she performed exceptionally well. Sci-fucking used the drama The Female General of the Kingdom to prove that the only one who can surpass her is herself. There is no need to judge by any awards. After tonight, everyone knows what Sci-fucking means to the film and television industry of the Great Xia Empire. The 2 TV series made her position in the TV series industry completely unshakable, even 50 years later. Not to mention professional film critics and historical experts have spoken out online. I am very happy to see such a well-produced historical drama as The Female General of the Kingdom. The crew and actors told us that the Daxia Empire can produce good TV series. The Female General of the Kingdom is a new milestone. I hope that in the future after this milestone, the entertainment industry can return to the entertainment industry and bring us a real visual feast. Miss Sci-fucking's performance gave me a very shocking feeling for a moment. I thought she was Zhang Ziyu herself. She must have thought about the role in many aspects to be able to perform every layer of emotion. Looking forward to the follow-up. The Demon made Sci-fucking become a top star overnight, and The Female General of the Kingdom made her completely leave the others behind and become the only top star. The fourth episode had just ended when Sang Yanking received numerous calls from brands and production crews, who rushed to invite Sci-Fucking to be the spokesperson and protagonist. In addition to Sci-Fucking, other supporting characters in the play have also become popular. The Thousand Army Alliance was crowded with people, and some people traveled thousands of miles to Mo City to see Mo Yanwen. Especially Mo Yishan and Tao Yunkai, two veteran movie kings and actresses, left their comfort zones and made a wonderful turnaround. Teacher SI, congratulations. Mo Yishan made a special call to thank Sci-Fucking. He was also filled with emotion. In just 1 year, you have surpassed everyone. I am happy for you. Sci-Fucking laughed lazily. Teacher Mo, are you okay on the street today? Mo Yishan sighed, forget it, I disguised myself as an agent, and when I was recognized, an old man fell on me and started crying. It made him think he was really dead. Oh, Sci-Fucking said calmly, it's better than being stabbed after being recognized. Mo Yishan. It sounds scary. After Sci-Fucking said goodnight to his friends, he still lay down in the game cabin. When she opened her eyes again, she came to Daxia Dynasty. The long street is vast and brightly lit. Being in the real Yongan city makes people feel a lot of emotion. Yesterday, she returned to Yongan from Zizhu with Emperor Yin, and she would continue to fight tomorrow morning. Sci-Fucking rubbed his eyes, took a deep breath, and went to the general's mansion to express condolences to Mrs. Zhang. After the 9 brothers Zhang Suanjin left, Mrs. Zhang became much older in an instant. But it is true that as shown in the play, she cannot fall. Sci-Fucking put down the gift, chatted with Mrs. Zhang for a few words, and asked, where is little Zayu? Speaking of Zhang Zayu, Mrs. Zhang smiled and shook her head, this girl is restless. She may have gone somewhere to play again, and I can't find her. Sci-Fucking nodded, then I'll come visit you another day. She refused Mrs. Zhang and asked the guards to escort her, and followed the road signs to the entrance of the mansion. Brother Wei. Someone called her softly in the dark night. Sci-Fucking paused. Brother Wei. The girl made her hands like trumpets, here. Sci-Fucking turned around and saw Zhang Zayu standing on the eaves, waving to her. She raised an eyebrow, why are you climbing so high? Zhang Zayu is only 15 years old now, but the maturity in her body cannot be compared to that of an adult in her 30s. My mother-in-law didn't want me to practice martial arts, so I had to practice it secretly. Zhang Zayu held the spear in his hand. Brother Wei, come up, it will be bad if my mother-in-law finds out soon. Sci-Fucking sighed, your Wei brother is just a weakling. Perhaps in order to prevent her from changing history, the game system gave her a body that was too weak. Zhang Zayu suddenly realized, wait, I'll help you come up. She swept down from the eaves, and used her unparalleled lightness skills to bring Sci-Fucking to the eaves. The surroundings are quiet, and the stars and moon shine in harmony. Zhang Zayu put the spear aside and tugged on Sci-Fucking's sleeve, brother Wei, look. Sci-Fucking raised his eyes. Today, His Majesty summoned my mother and I to the palace. He told me that if I miss my father and my eldest and second brothers, I should look up at the sky at night. The brightest stars in the north are them. Listening to these familiar words, Sci-Fucking's heart suddenly tightened. Coincidence? Zhang Zayu asked again, if I die, will I turn into a star? Sci-Fucking looked at her deeply, why do you suddenly think of death? Because I was thinking, if I really die on the battlefield, then I dash. Zhang Zayu tilted her head and thought for a moment, then suddenly smiled, then I will be buried at the foot of Changping Mountain in the west. Sci-Fucking was stunned for a moment, then asked, what's the reason? Uncle Ji said that is where the dragon vein is and it is also an important border area. Zhang Zayu said lightly, Dad and eldest brother are guarding Yanmen, so I will guard Changping Mountain. The 5 states of Great Xia were in war, and Zizhu followed the western continent. It was as chaotic as Bizhu, and Emperor Yin personally took charge. The situation is even more critical than in Bizhu. Sci-fi's heart was shocked again. There is no record of the location of Zhang Ziyu's cemetery in the history books. There is her ancestral hall in Bizhu, but she is not there. Her throat rolled up, and she didn't know what to say. Brother Wei, both your majesty and dad said that if we don't fight this battle now, we will fight it in the future, Zhang Ziyu said softly, so we must fight. I never blame them for not being by my side. I only want to be honored. Si looked at her steadily and smiled, yes, there will be no war in the future. Zhang Ziyu spoke in a relaxed tone, Brother Wei, do you think no one will dare to bully us in the future? Can everyone live the life they want? Si nodded. Will do. Thousands of years later, everything will be possible. Then it's worth it. Zhang Ziyu picked up the spear, I'm going to continue practicing with the spear. After I'm done practicing, I'll ask His Majesty for instructions to go on an expedition. After a pause, she was a little worried, His Majesty's health is getting worse. Uncle Ji said he has lung disease. I don't know if it can be cured. Si touched her head, you go ahead, I'll go back to the palace to find His Majesty. On the other side, in reality, is Zizhu and Changping Mountain. The night was pitch black, with few stars in the sky. Under the vast sky, there are rolling mountains and rivers, boundless and vast. There is a group of mercenaries hiding in a cave, with sparks beating. Brother, we found it. This is definitely Zhang Ziyu's tomb, a person said excitedly, let's test it out tonight. If there is no danger, we can dig directly. That's right, there happens to be a popular drama being aired recently. The young man chewed on his cigarette, it seems to be about Zhang Ziyu. When the time comes, we can sell the things in the tomb, and we can also raise the price and make a profit. Yes, yes, it's called The Female General Who Presided Over the Country. When I watch those shows, people feel like their parents have died. They cry over several historical figures and don't know what to cry about, another person said, also it's not as good as money. The young man thought for a while and shrugged his shoulders, it seems that the tomb named Zhang is the Eye of the Dragon vein. Hey, I'm not sure. Just dig it up. It's just a dead person, what's so precious about it? This plot development, I swear it is really one link after another. See you tomorrow. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 591. Even if they don't dig, if the archaeological team discovers this place in the future, they will dig it up. It's just that tomb robbing and archaeology are completely different in nature. The former is proactive, while the latter involves protecting and restoring tombs after they appear due to various reasons. It was also due to weathering and the construction of an underground base that Zhang Suanjin's tomb was exposed. The archaeological team dug the tomb for protection, which was completely different from tomb robbing. And now, after the restoration is completed, Zhang Suanjin's tomb has been completely sealed. Guards from the Thousand Army Alliance were guarding the outside of the tomb to prevent interested people from entering and stealing cultural relics, and no one was allowed to disturb Zhang Suanjin and Su Yunchu. Zhang Haiping's tomb was first discovered by a group of tomb robbers. Fortunately, the Heaven and Earth Alliance and the Thousand Army Alliance arrived in time and brought this group of tomb robbers to justice. Before entering the prison, the group of tomb robbers cried bitterly and said that they found nothing but soil. During the subsequent protective excavation of Zhang Haiping's tomb, the tombs of several other brothers of the Zhang family were discovered one after another. With the help of the Xia University Archaeology Department and the Tiandi Alliance, everyone successfully restored these tombs. From then on, Bizhu Yanmen became a key protection target, and no major projects were allowed. All Zhang family members are buried here, except Zhang Ziyu. Many historians speculated for a long time, but could not imagine where she would be buried besides Yong'an City and Yanmen, Bizhu. The reason why the mercenary team led by the young man came to Zizhu was because they got a secret message. They had been investigating here for a long time before finally discovering Zhang Ziyu's tomb. The young man didn't care at all what problems would arise if they dug Zhang Ziyu's tomb, and he didn't know what dragon veins were. In his opinion, dragon veins are just a form in the ground. Can they really have any special effects? If it breaks, it breaks. Taking money to do things, of course he doesn't care about other things. The young man took out 9 copper coins and said, "Let's see if it's suitable to dig tonight." He threw the 9 copper coins into the air. The next moment, the copper coin actually floated in mid-air without any external support, vibrating slightly. The eyes of the other mercenaries also became intense. However, within 3 seconds, there was a ding-dong-dang sound, and 9 copper coins suddenly fell to the ground without any warning. The mercenaries suddenly became frightened. "It's a sign of great danger." The young man's expression also changed. "We'd better wait until daytime before we start digging. There are many taboos in the tomb robbing business. If they are not careful, their entire mercenary team may be trapped here. Either die in the tomb or be captured by the Thousand Army Alliance." Neither the former nor the latter was what they thought. "There must be an archaeological team hanging around here." The young man put away the copper coins and warned the others, "Be careful, don't let them follow you." He also couldn't understand the archaeological team. The nature is obviously the same as theirs. Why dig the grave in the name of protection? The most hateful thing is that after he heard that Zhang Suanjin's tomb was discovered, when he was about to make a small fortune, the archaeological team actually sealed Zhang Suanjin's tomb again. You simply don't understand how to make money. Do the dead people still know what they lost? This time he planned to dig up Zhang Ziyu's tomb completely. After completing the task, he would transport the remaining cultural relics to the Western continent. After making this money, he would completely wash his hands. "Brother, Zhang Ziyu's tomb is built on the dragon's veins. Where do you think Emperor Yin is?" a man said with a smile. "If we can find his tomb, we will make a fortune." That was the Daxia dragon bird. How many burial objects were there? The young man was also a little moved, but he still maintained his composure. "Don't worry, I'll ask the adult when I hand over the task. He will definitely know." Although he didn't know the identity of the adult who came to him, he felt fear from the bottom of his heart. It also delayed this gentleman's blessing before they could determine the location of Zhang Ziyu's tomb. No one would have thought that this female general would be buried in such a remote place in Zizhu without even a tombstone. It's really strange. That gentleman is obviously very capable. Why didn't he do it himself? The young man couldn't help but murmured, but he didn't think about it. Dongzhou is 3,000 miles away from Zizhu. G family. Mr. G watched the sky at night as usual and kept making calculations at the same time. Suddenly, his expression changed. "No, there is something strange in the dragon's veins." Ji Xingzi heard this and jumped down from the eaves with a solemn expression. "Which mountain?" He also just learned one thing from Mr. G. In Dongzhou, where the Ji family is located, the dragon vein Fuzang mountain here once suffered serious damage. This incident happened after the death of Emperor Yin and the powerful figures of the 3 families and 4 alliances. The dragon's veins were completely severed, and even part of it was dug away. It was the ancestors of the Ji family and several elders who united to repair the broken dragon vein. But it doesn't cure the root cause. What is even more regrettable is that the ancestor and elders of the Ji family also died after exhausting their efforts and energy during the repair process. The Ji family has been hiding in Dongzhou these years, and there is a reason why they have to constantly repair the dragon veins. Changping Mountain in the west. Mr. Ji's voice was anxious. "You quickly go find Master Yu Wu, I will rush to Changping Mountain first." Ji Xingzi naturally knew the seriousness of the matter, and he immediately responded, "No problem." At this time, Sci-fi was in the palace. In the Zikan Palace, the young emperor summoned several military attaches and was deploying the follow-up battle plan for Zizhu. Sci stood aside and listened carefully. Emperor Yin is indeed worthy of being the purple star descending from the sky, the peerless god of war. She also learned a lot of tactics from him. Although she can no longer use them now, it means that she has really been in this era and worked with her idol. Let's go from here tonight, and then he stopped talking and suddenly vomited a mouthful of blood uncontrollably. The bright red dots fell on the map, which was shocking. The military attaches were panicked. His Majesty. Where is the Divine Doctor Alliance? Your Majesty, hold on, Your Majesty. Sci's expression changed and he remembered something extremely important. It is recorded in history books. In June of the 684th year of the lunar calendar, Emperor Yin vomited blood for the first time. In December of the 684th year of the lunar calendar, Emperor Yin died. In the middle, there was only less than 6 months left. There's only so much time left. From now on, the 5 states of Daxia will lose this young emperor forever. But later, because the invaders were expelled from the 5 states of Daxia, Emperor Yin led his army to the west to frighten the principalities of the western continent, and the Daxia dynasty finally entered its prosperous age. The long street is bustling, and you can enjoy the shade under the grass. Zhang Ziyu said it was worth it. It doesn't matter. He raised his hand to stop the panicked military attaché with a calm expression, and said without any fluctuation in his expression, continue. Sci clenched his fists and remembered that it was recorded in the history books that Emperor Yin was tired and ill. She supported him and whispered, Your Majesty, it's better to rest for a while. History cannot be changed. In modern times, such lung disease would be easy for her, but she couldn't save him. Gubuletin Ti he shook his head and said in a calm voice, the situation in Zizhu is critical, and they must be defeated in one fell swoop. People from the Divine Medical Alliance came and went. The military attaches were also extremely anxious. But Emperor Yin still commanded and issued tasks in the face of danger. Sci was stunned. She actually felt the feeling of Yeturnan dying in front of her. Her heart was like an ant eating her. At this time, he suddenly called her, his eyes fixed, Wu Yi, I will give this city to you. Sci raised his head, looked back at him, and finally said one word, okay. Just like the promise she made when she saw him when he was 9 years old, and when she saw him ascending to the throne when he was 14 years old. Accompany you until the end of the journey. The night was still dark, so Sci opened the game cabin. She exhaled slowly, sweat on her forehead. She was emotionally unstable just now and had to immediately disconnect her brain waves. Sci jumped out of the game cabin and went downstairs to the kitchen to pour a glass of sparkling water. She took a sip to calm down. A voice sounded slowly behind her. The seasons are changing, and the night is cold and dewy. Don't go barefoot. Brother Ninth. Sci turned his head. The moonlight shone in from outside the window and fell on the man, dyeing his eyebrows silvery white. In a daze, she had the feeling that she was still in the game. This look was very familiar to her. Yu Ziyan took 2 steps forward. Are you having a nightmare? Sci lay on the railing in front of the windowsill, looking out. It was a dream, but it wasn't a nightmare. I dreamed about Zhang Ziyu. Yu Ziyan's eyelashes twitched slightly, huh. I have been chatting with her for a long time. Sci lowered her voice, and 2 words danced on her lips for a long time before she finally spit them out, I also dreamed about Emperor Yin. Yu Ziyan Rufen narrowed her eyes deeply and suddenly smiled, did you just dream about it now? Because it's a big life, it's different. Sci stretched out, I'm going to Changping Mountain. Brother Ninth, will you go? I can't sleep, I want to leave now. Yu Ziyan's eyes narrowed even more, why do you suddenly think of going to Changping Mountain? The terrain of Zizhu is complex, with Changping Mountain as a natural moat. Changping Mountain is not only the destiny of the Great Xia Empire, but also an indispensable thing to protect the safety of the residents of Zizhu. There must be something different about the place where the dragon vein is located, Sci-fi said lazily. Emperor Yin fought there, let me go and have a look. Yu Xian didn't ask any more questions. Okay, let's go. Maybe he hasn't seen it for a long time. Sci-fi's eyes lit up and she immediately went to change clothes. She was about to open the door when there was a knock on the door at the same moment. Dong dong dong. Brother, something happened. Jizingzi was very anxious. I called you on your mobile phone just now and didn't get through. I just rushed here. My grandfather said that there was something wrong with the dragon veins in Changping Mountain and asked me to come and see you. Sci-fi's eyes suddenly changed. She knew that Changping Mountain was a dragon vein. But she also knew just now that it was the resting place of Zhang Ziyu after his death. She raised her head, with only the uncontrollable violence and viciousness in her eyes remaining. Really looking for death? Good morning.